I'm gonna have trouble remembering all the things I did today, partially because my brain is mush, but also because I did a decent number of things, and I think that Japanese House is done, other than mastering, which really is just me bouncing the track and looking at it and making sure it's not like problematically too quiet in certain areas. I think volume wise we're all good. The first thing I did today, small little mixing thing on this little guitar back and forth that we made yesterday. On the second repeat, I just had it pull back a little bit in volume, just by 1.5 decibels there, while bringing up the volume of our vocal chop about 3 decibels to allow it to just be a slight different mix on that second loop. I really like this sound. I don't want to not have this loop repeat, but I do want it to be a little bit different. So it plays, I'll play halfway through the first half and you can kind of hear how it changes. It's maybe too subtle of a detail for anyone other than me to really notice here, but this guy, it becomes a little bit more prominent in the mix, while this fades back a little bit. And just because we're just straight looping these 8 bars here, just a slight change there I think makes a little bit of a difference there, so it's not just a complete direct loop. The other thing, I've been constantly struggling with the vocal chop in this first loop here, where I really wanted the vocal chop to be like really interesting and pizzazzy. I think I was maybe overthinking things, and I just took the same loop I had before, put a tremolo on it on the 16th. We have the little like lead up here, this guy, that clears out in volume here to make space for these little pockets of vocal chop. And while this sound is, and I wanted the vocal chop to be like dega 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 dega. I wanted it to be like a much tighter rhythmic value. I found that just put a tremolo on it and that kind of like solves it. So you'll hear it kind of come in here. You put a tremolo on it, it goes dega 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 dega, and that's basically what I wanted. And so I think that all here, this whole drop here works pretty well. Cool. The next thing was a mix thing. We added these strings in, but they were a little bit too dynamic, so we tamed them with some volume automation here, and then also actually have a tremolo fade in here at the end. It's not an effect that really you hear at all. I think it just helps start to blend this string pad sound that kind of like really changes up the vibe of the piece back to kind of the chugging tremolo-y trance, house piece we've got going on here. So at the end it kind of does this. And in the mix it sounds, like the voice is doing the same thing, so it just kind of lines up with that and matches it, so it doesn't like stand out. You can't tell that the strings are doing it, but I think it just helps reinforce that tremolo effect that's happening there. And the kind of the one thing I'm not certain about with this piece is that this sound, I feel like, is still notably missing once we get into the drop, but there's enough other interesting stuff happening that I feel like that's fine, and it's maybe only I'm gonna miss it, but I do feel like texturally, spatially, it feels like it's missing here. I don't know. Listen to the strings coming into that drop and tell me if you notice that they're missing. I should Like it fills up this kind of like mid range that's like missing. Like I don't know if I look at it in the span maybe. Yeah, I guess it's like here. It kind of looks like in the gaps there. You can see it's just a little bit lower. I kind of hear it missing. I think most people probably won't notice. I added a few new like whooshes and washes in a few new spots, but the only other thing that I think I really changed was in our first drop was just listening through it, and I was like, I heard this that my ear was naturally hearing kind of almost placebo, making me feel like it was going like left, right, left, and then back to center. And so I just did that. I just pulled those into their own channels, so that it goes like left, right, left, or right, left, right, and then goes back to center with the main vocal. That seemed kind of cool, and I definitely think it definitely makes this beginning part more interesting. Just a little bit more interesting, in a cool way. Yeah, I think honestly this track is probably done. So honestly, these little sound bits that I've played for you in this piece sounded like a piece of music you'd enjoy listening to. I'll put it up on SoundCloud, and I'll have the link down below, and you guys can enjoy it. This is Boyhood by Japanese House Remix by Wavepunk. If you want the whole thing, go there. That's all we had time for today. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.